Hi, welcome.
Hello.
It's so good to see you. Welcome. I'm Merritt from Untitled Atlanta, and we have a special guest today. If you are in the fashion industry, you already know this amazing name. But today we have the absolutely and wonderful Angela Watts.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Merritt. How are you? Thank you
I'm
so much for
doing
having me.
well. Of course. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited that you're here. So, how we're going to kick off our interview, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lightning round first. It's kind of just our icebreaker. I'm going to ask you
Okay.
some questions and then you answer whatever comes top of mind. So, there's no thinking, there's no wrong answer, just whatever comes top of mind. You ready?
Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared of this, but go ahead.
It's
Let's
going to be
do
great.
it.
Okay. A clutch or a shoulder bag?
Oh, definitely a shoulder bag.
Okay. Red or pink lip?
Red.
Your favorite TV show?
Scandal.
Ooh. A wedge or a heel?
Definitely a heel.
Right. Your favorite season?
Fall. I'm an October baby.
I'm a September baby. Um, Best way to accessorize?
Ooh, definitely with a scarf.
Ooh, okay. Instagram or Twitter?
Definitely Instagram.
Your favorite celebrity?
Jay-Z.
Your favorite song?
Ooh, obviously there's so many. But I would have to say Rick. Oh my God, it's a Rick Ross record, and I can't think of it right now. I can't
Okay.
think of the name of it, but it's a Rick Ross record. I'll
Okay.
tell you in a second.
All right. And the last photograph you took?
It was at SCAD
Mm-hmm.
at their opening for Ruth Carter. Her it was an exhibit around her and her work with different films. So I took some photos there.
Awesome. That was it.
Yeah.
It wasn't too
Oh,
bad,
cool. That wasn't too bad. You gave me options.
right?
So
Yeah.
that yeah, it wasn't too bad. Thanks.
Good, 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 good. So I want to kick us off and just talk about your incredible career and your success over your career, both in the fashion industry and also in media. And I want to just start with a little bit of background of you to know how did this begin? What made you want to get into fashion?
Honestly, I've always had this, I hate to say this very cliche um group of words, but a passion for fashion. I'll just say that, right? But I actually started off in technology. I was a Microsoft certified systems engineer.
Oh,
So I
wow.
worked for a company by the name of TRX. And TRX, everyone has used their services because when you went to Expedia.com or one
Mm-hmm.
of those type of travel websites, when you purchase your tickets, our servers would process everything from all communications to processing the ticket to everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so I worked on our server team where I managed some of the servers. I did a lot of admin work. Um, but it was one day when something crazy happened. I knew that I was ready for a career change because I got tired of being in IT. And we had this incident that happened called the love bug. It affected pretty much every major company in the world. And pretty much, if you did not have like a backup system, your company was down, losing millions of dollars.
Oh
And
my.
so I normally would arrive to work around 7 a.m. And then I would stay to about 6 because we had the ability to work Monday through Thursday or
Mm.
Tuesday through Friday. And so I took the Monday through Thursday schedule, and it happened on that Monday. I was at work from 7 a.m. to about 6 a.m. the next morning. So I almost did 24 hours because we were at our server site trying to get our servers, the main servers, back on because everything had relayed over to our backup system. And that was the day that I realized that it is time to move on
Mm-hmm.
to another career. So I started doing research about public relations. I knew nothing about it. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna become a publicist. I literally said that. And
Uh-huh.
so I got a 3 ring binder, and every
Uh-huh.
day when I was at work, I would print every article I could find about publicity. And I created my own book in essence. It was broken down by events. It was broken down by media relations. Back then, writing the proper way to to write press releases, the proper way to pitch. Like every article that I can find in those 4 or 5 categories, I printed and I studied. And I eventually got my first opportunity when I started doing some promotions, working with this guy named Darius. He was a celebrity trainer and he wanted to start a Sunday um, day party here
Mm-hmm.
in Buckhead at Copeland's. And he was like, listen, I want you to come on board. And since you want to do publicity, I'm going to have you start doing a little bit of marketing and some PR behind it. And I was like, okay, great. So it was my opportunity to really like put those that put what I learned into action. And when I tell you it was like the best thing or the best thing to ever happen to me. I got a chance to work my first PR project and I knew that I wanted to focus in fashion, but I
Yeah.
got a chance to work my first PR project, which was with Gary Payton. He was here with the Lakers and he wanted to host a fundraiser, but decided to do a fashion show for the fundraiser. So I provided publicity for that. And when I got a back then it was about the number of words or the how big the article was
Mm-hmm.
in Atlanta Daily World. And I was in the photo with him and the guy that brought me on board. I was like, okay, this is like what I'm
That's it.
supposed to do.
That's it. How
And
did
it
you
was
know you
a,
always wanted to do fashion? Was that just like your own interest and passion that you've always had?
it was just my own interest and passion. And when I learned, I knew that the basis of the PR work that I would do would be centered around um, events.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I learned more and more about Fashion Week, it really intrigued me about the shows and the things that were happening in New York. And so again, I do research and just learn more about what was happening there and I loved it. Like I was just drawn into it, how they would just produce these collections and the thought and the process and the stories that they were able to tell behind each collection really made me was very exciting for me and I was like I want to do this. This is what I want to do. So in essence, I was like, if I do publicity and I can work in fashion, then I can also do events. So it just made it because I'm a social person. So it just made it like the perfect career for anyone, for me anyway.
Yeah. And in that same vein, you are the one who brought Fashion Week in Atlanta, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So back in, so I, in 2006, I got laid off
Mm-hmm.
for my position, August 2006 with TRX. And so September 2006 is when I started my agency. Back then it was called AW Media Group. And what I made it an effort to start producing or working with different brands. I was kind of just touching a little bit of everything, but particularly fashion brands or boutiques. So just doing small events for them. I'm sorry, I got a call that came in. I'm back. I'm sorry about
Okay.
that.
No worries.
Um, um, Producing small events for them. And so I would do different shows, or I would do presentations, or I do shopping events, just working on those types of events. And then, but I was doing them so much that I was like, okay, now I can start bringing this in to create a fashion week. Right. And so in 2000, so fast forward to 2013, I was like, well, I really need to create something under another moniker. So I thought about Ragtrade. I did some research, wanted to come up with a name that was unique. I didn't really at that time want to use Atlanta Fashion Week because I feel like there were a few people that were using that name, but wasn't really, and it was tarnished in my eyes. So I
Mm-hmm.
came up with Ragtrade Atlanta Fashion Week to make it different, and that's when we produced one of the bigger shows under that moniker, and then it just kind of grew from there.
That's amazing. And then,
Thank you.
so Rag Trade, Um, what I love about the organization as well is it's almost like you're lifting as you climb, as if you will. Like there's so many supports, there's so many things that you're
Mhm.
doing for people who are up and coming, providing mentorship, providing
Mhm.
scholarships, and essentially providing exposure. I'm curious
Mhm.
about like how you transitioned and focused on like um, providing like a broader sense of that. And then I also want to know your connection to Atlanta. I know I feel like in everything, there's always like, we want to make sure that Atlanta has a footprint in this industry and that people understand Atlanta is here to stay.
So I'm glad that you say that because all of my friends are just like, you tote Atlanta flag. And I really, really do because I just really believe in the creativity of this city. This is the city that gave me my start. This is the city that embraced me. And this is the city that has allowed me to really try my ideas out there and support it. You know, a lot of times it's hard to get through certain industries without going through a gatekeeper. Here, you know, you have that freedom to create. And if people like, they will come.
Hmm.
And that's what I was able to do. So that's the reason why I tote Atlanta flag to its highest. And in all respect, Atlanta has led culture for so many years. The things that we're doing here, I mean, even now in the political space, all eyes were on Georgia, particularly Atlanta, about pushing these two Senate seats. And we pretty much did it. You know, we did it. And I mean, what else can I say? Like I feel like we're the perfect model that other cities that have high density of African Americans can use
Yep.
to take back to their city to really experience what we experience here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the first question was
Around ragtag.
rag
Sorry,
trade,
rag
rag trade, rag
trade.
trade. Yeah,
And then also just
how it came about with the
yeah, how
programming,
it came
right?
about and really focusing on like the giving and lifting as you climb, the mission around that as well.
So the way that initially with the shows with Rag Trade, it was all about the fashion shows.
Hmm.
We wanted to ensure that we promoted independent designers. And then we also understand that Atlanta really did not at that time have a platform that provided support for our independent designers that are grown that are here. I understood just working in publicity, marketing, and events that Atlanta had a market for this particular industry. But again, there have been plenty of attempts to create something special around the fashion community. Unfortunately, it never came to fruition or the execution wasn't just there, right? So taking all of my experience that I garnered from working a lot of different events with different brands and different clients, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So one of my girlfriends, who's a really good friend of mine, she actually was part of the board that started Charleston Fashion Week. And so I went to her and I was like, look, why don't you join me with this and let's just try to create something great. And she agreed. And so we started having our meetings around the shows to make it bigger, like I told you before. And then from there, once we had our shows, like maybe for 2 years, the designers came to us and it was like, look, the shows are great, but we need education. We need education around how to run a business, education around producing content, workshop panels and panel discussions with industry experts. Can we make this bigger? And I was like, absolutely. So then I started adding additional programming for
Hmm.
Rag Trade, introduced a membership model, and then also started producing content around the things that we were trying to push out in regards to our messaging, which is support, which is a community. Those were the most important things for us because we knew that we did not have it here, and we knew that it was such everyone was so disenfranchised that nobody really or working in different silos
Mhm,
that
mhm.
they did not have a common place to come and have conversation. So we wanted to provide that.
Yeah, and it sounds like you already have done so, so congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
Has COVID affected any of that for you guys as far as like the cohesion? Like, how has COVID affected rag trade, if at all?
Uh, it affected, honestly, it's disrupted all of my businesses because I have in real life experiences.
Hmm.
That's where we focused, right? And so the idea of virtual events just wasn't my thing. I don't really care for it.
Hmm.
I I do understand that that will be part probably going no, that is going to be part of any campaign going forward.
Yeah.
But how can I make it different and make it more exciting, right? How can I make it more engaging where it's just not you're looking at a screen and hearing people have conversation. So I'm trying to figure that piece out. I know that we're going to have that engage integrated within Atlanta Fashion Week that will take place later this year in October. But when I do, I want to make sure that it's elevated from based on from everything that from my learnings and what I've experienced during this time, this downtime.
Got it. Yeah, fair enough. Um, Now you mentioned being in the tech world, and the tech world is usually a very male dominated
Mhm,
industry. And so
mhm.
I'm wondering if there's any trends within that industry that just kind of rubbed you the wrong way. You already kind of talked about what your final straw was like, yeah, working 24 hours a day, like, or almost like, that's not gonna, it's not gonna work for me. But um, I am curious about just any trends that you saw when you were in that corporate space, for people to be able to pick up on and know that
Mhm.
they're not the only ones there who are experiencing some of the things that they are.
And for me, it was mainly situated around having freedom
Hmm.
to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it and to not have a limit on the amount of money that I could make. Granted, I did pretty well working in IT. I was the only female on the team amongst my white male counterparts, and maybe a couple of black men that were part of the team, but I was the only female on the team. Now, that wasn't always a bad thing, but it wasn't where I wanted to be. I knew that I was more social. I wanted to be out engaging with people a lot more, and I really just lost interest in the career because honestly, the money did drive me to even engage with it. But once I got into it, I was just like, it's cool. I did pretty well in it, but I think there's something more for me.
Hmm.
And that's why I started researching, marketing and communications. And that's where I found my calling. I was easily integrated into the industry. I really did not have mentors that um, taught me the ropes. I really taught myself everything by trial and error. I was like, I'm going to get out here, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to take the theory and then apply it to real life. And that's what I did.
Yeah. So, if you could give any advice based on all the experience, based on all the wonderful things that have happened, what would be your advice that you would give our audience, especially those who are tuned into the Safe Space for Black Girls Career Advice column? I'm curious to see, like, if there's any advice that you can give someone right now, especially a Black woman right now, who is could be in the mid level of her career and she's
Mhm.
almost at the same crossroads that you were in as well. What would be the advice that you would give them?
You only live once. If you want to do it, just do it. Luckily for me, my prayer, and I'm going to tell you something. When I realized I did not want to work in IT anymore,
Hmm.
I prayed that I would get laid off.
Oh, wow.
I
Why?
prayed. I was like, because I knew that if I got laid off, that I'll be offered a package, and that
Hmm.
package can run me through X amount of months while I build my business up.
Fair enough. Strategic if you think about it, right?
Very, it was very strategic, and it's so crazy because my manager, who was he was really really nice, and always supported me in everything that I did. He came to me. He said, Angela, I'm gonna let you know something right now. Do not say anything to anyone, but they're going to lay you off in August. I was like, they are? He was like, yes. I was like, well, damn. I said, the power of prayer really works
Yes, it
because I
does.
literally prayed for that. And August came, August 31st came, human resources came downstairs, asked me to go into the conference room, and they told me that they were laying me off. I was surprised. I asked as if I was very surprised. And then when they left, I went to my desk and I just started crying. And I was
Tears
like,
of joy.
wow, I don't know if it was tears of
Okay.
joy or if it was tears of like, wow, my next step, the next step in the next part of my career is starting, and I don't, I don't, now I'm leaving all of my friends and everything that I've known. You know what I mean? So I stayed in contact with the group for a while, actually for a very long time. We would go to lunch for my manager's birthday every year or whatever. But yeah, I cried and I think it was mixed emotions, honestly, at the end. But um I was still happy, but still sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it ended up, as it always does, working out for the better. So I'm
Yeah,
so glad.
absolutely. So
Um,
whatever you want to do, just do, just do it. That's my thing. Don't hold back. Obviously do be strategic. So if you need to pray for to be relieved of your duties by being laid off, whatever works for you, that worked for me, obviously. But yeah, just do it.
Perfect. If people want to follow you, if they want to follow Rag Trade, where do they go?
So they can follow me personally on my personal pages, which are and they're all open. Angela S. Watts. You can follow me on Ragtrade at Ragtrade Atlanta, and that's Ragtrade Atlanta. And then you can also follow me on 10 Squared, which is 10 squared, SQUARED.
Perfect. Well, Angela, thank you so much for joining and sharing your story. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you all for tuning in and learning more. As always, if you want to follow us, make sure you follow us on InStyleAtlanta.com. You also can subscribe to this YouTube channel right here below and follow us on our social media, all at InStyleAtlanta.com. Or excuse me,
Thank you.
InStyle Atlanta. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.